I moved to Howard County because of the school system, which I thought would be um, better than the school district I was living in at the time that I had my son, which was Baltimore City. So I moved him back to Howard County, where I went to high school.
You ain't ever gonna fly. Why you wanna fly, blackbird?
I don't think that Howard County is geared directly for black boys and how they learn. So that's been a real big challenge for me. I have had to go to the Board of Education several times because I don't think that, some teachers understand that black parents do check homework, grades, report cards, are very involved even though they don't see us. But I have had to go to the Board of Education a number of times to have my son's grades changed, and I can't say that it was just because he didn't do the work. The work was done, the work was correct, but for some odd reason they would try to fail him.
The BSAP program, and that stands for Black Student Achievement Program, the program is in place to make sure that the African American student population in Howard County Public Schools is put in the best position to be successful. And that could take place in a number of different ways. It could be countywide academic celebrations, it could be in-school academic celebrations, it could be making sure that students' grades are as such where they're ready for graduation. It could be sitting down with students and doing one-on-one mentoring or group mentoring, doing grade spotting. It could be touching bases with teachers, parents, and administrators, and coming up with different plans and setting goals to make sure that those African American students are being successful. And another component of that, in addition to what I said, was also making sure that students embrace African American culture and history as a part of it. African American culture and history has a rich tradition, and so bringing that into play and changing the narrative of the black student, seeing themselves not as one who is not an achiever, not as one who doesn't feel good about themselves or their capabilities or lacking confidence, but seeing themselves in a positive light, dispelling many of those stereotypes, and seeing themselves with limitless potential and having the perseverance and the resiliency to be able to overcome whatever barriers or obstacles that come in their way.
Besides my son being in Howard County schools and the grading system and the forcefulness for some of the teachers to automatically put on him that he may have ADHD or he may have a learning disability. They say that he's capable, but he may have other issues that may need to be medically diagnosed.
In many of the schools, you find majority of the teachers are Caucasian female teachers. So when you look at it from that perspective, having an additional person who looks like that student, who can relate on more of a personal level at times, and that student feeling a connection and knowing perhaps that person may have been through similar experiences and circumstances, I think that makes a difference in how students approach their education. There's a lot going on with social media. There's a lot going on in terms of conversations about race and different things like that. So the more role models and positive examples that can be set for these children to assist these parents, I think the better off they'll be?
I am moving to Dallas, and I've already done plenty of research and made a few trips there. And they have those mentorship programs, and they have several. They have several community-based, not only within the school system, but in the community for Black boys.
I think in my position, our children need to see somebody in my position, especially African American male as myself, in this position, because there ain't too many of us in America, or should I say in the school systems, because a lot of us do not tend to come back and provide, but the ones that do, it's just basically somebody that went through their shoes. So basically, if you could walk in my shoes and make it, I guarantee you that you'll make it in society if you do the same as me. If you go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get your masters, get good grades, you'll get a job. You'll be able to buy a house, your own car. Independent lifestyle is what I preach. Not owing people, not wanting for nothing is something that we have to earn. It's something that you live for. So I'm in a position to show students that. I'm in a position to put people, to guide people where they need to go without, like I said before, without the harassment or the discouragement that they may receive from other people or other colleagues or other professionals. So I'm here to enhance them.
And I think it makes a difference when you have more men around these young Black boys. But to answer your question on more of a broader societal level, I think it's not just any one thing, but a combination of many things. I think when we look at the media and cell phones, now that is now a part of education. That has impacted the culture of learning and education in our society in general in a number of ways, because there's trauma constantly in the media airwaves, from murders to negative news. You know, people are taking their lives on social media, and it's bringing about, you know, these mental health issues or these mental health challenges. And before a student learns about math or English or science or history and all of that, they have to first be in the right place psychologically, emotionally, to be able to get that. And then they have to have confidence. They have to, you know, be inspired. These are the things that, if they don't have these things, then what you want to give them, it may not pan out as much. But we live there's so much trauma going on. There's so much trauma, you know, negativity. And once again, if we're not careful as educators, that negativity that we're exposed to, that we see in this world, it could penetrate our hearts, minds, and spirits, and we can unawareingly, not knowing, if we're not careful, our students can sense this. It can pick it up from what we're internalizing. So, you know, with all this trauma, we can get numb from it because it becomes so normalized. And so there has to be a paradigm shift. There has to be some therapy that is done. But that's a fully loaded question. But I think that, you know, there has to be some healing.
I wanna fly, blackbird. You ain't ever gonna fly. Why you wanna fly?